go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go crazy like a dum-dum. East side homeboy, where I come from. Dance on the floor till you go numb. No fighting, no hating, no red rum. This is O City. All the way to the bay, hit the base, feel me. Catch a case cause it's beating up your Chevy. Get you moving side to side, getting all sweaty. Make it work it out. Turn the volume up loud. It's a draw crowd, make it all shout. Go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Hit play on the track and I'm ready. Like a quarterback, Tom Brady. Catch it all in the frenzy. Go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. All the way from the O to LA.
Hey, what's going on? What is going on? We are right about a minute early. We're doing good already. See what a little break does for you. You know, see what a little hey, your own time. Okay, look early for the party. I like it. I love it. Yes, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, we were off on last week, so you are catching the scoop refreshed and revived, fresh off of a week off and a long weekend. Like, we couldn't have picked a better week to take off if we wanted to get a real good refreshing in. So yes, welcome to the Scoop Show. We are so glad that you are here on this fine, beautiful Tuesday. We have a really good show. We got a catch-up show that is, woo child. Like, there has been, we took a break. The world did not take a break. The news cycle, the timeline, whatever it is you want to call it, was on fire, okay, over these last 7 to 10 days, including the weekends. I can't even call it business days, okay? We've been working even on the weekends, evenings and weekends. We have been getting it in on the news station, on the news front. So we've got a very full show this evening talking about all of the things that have been going on the internet. So like this show, all of our shows are usually packed full. We have guests, we have special hot topics, we have main top, all kinds of things going on. So we don't ever want you to miss a show. This doesn't have to be a one-time thing, okay? So to stay locked in with the Scoop, we want you to be able to get us wherever it is that you like to spend your time. If that is on YouTube, you can follow us at The Scoop Show. If you prefer Facebook, hey y'all, Facebook, that's my jam. You can follow us at Real Scoop Show. And if you prefer, you know, the pretty pictures and things, Instagram is where it's at The Scoop Radio Show. We still have some really good discussions. We post conversational memes and all the good stuff over there on IG. So be sure that you lock in, hit the likes, hit the thumbs and the follows and the bells and all of the things so that you never miss a show, because, you know, we do those replays and, you know, those are just as lit as the live. Like, well, yeah, they just as lit as the live. Show up. I guarantee the replay. You won't be disappointed in the replay. So yeah, that is pretty much all you need. We want you to hit that share button, please, and thank you. That's a really big thing for you. If you're really enjoying what you like so far, if you've been here a time or two, you already know what it is. Hit that share button in the comment section. Tell us where you are tuning in from and enjoy the show. We're about to get this thing started. I don't want to yap too long because we got too much to talk about. Let's go. Win, how you doing, bro?
I am good. I'm good. We got, like you said, we got a lot to talk about tonight. I'm excited about it, and yeah, so yeah, I'm excited about it. Super excited. Apparently, my son is in the other room on YouTube watching this. So,
Hey, Trey.
bless me. Help us, Lord.
We appreciate all of the views. Okay, all of the views.
Yep. How are you?
I am well. Refreshed. I'm on my phone this evening, so I'm sorry, y'all. I can't chit chat and like and love and do all of the things that I normally do because when I move to Facebook, my screen freezes. So, what's up, everybody? Love y'all. But other than that, I am doing really well. Wasn't gonna let nothing stop this show, honey. Got on that phone, put it on the tripod, and let's go.
Do what it do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to technology.
Make it do what it do. All right, you ready to get into these topics?
Let's do it.
All right, y'all. Before again, as Q said, this is y'all interact with us all night. So drop your comments all night. Hit the share button if you have not hit that share button, so others can join in. Tag your peoples as well, so we can get this show into this. We need all of the feedback tonight. So we're gonna jump into this. Of course, y'all know we're going to get into these hot topics. And, of course, hot topics are brought to you by our favorite Black-owned gas station, Oklahoma City, Bob's Shamrock, which is on 2901 Northwest 10th Street, where you can pull up and fill up. Get your gas for your car, and get the fuel for your stomach with that barbecue that they got over there at Bob Shamrock. Again, that's 2901 Northwest 10th Street, right across from the fairgrounds in Oklahoma City. Tell Kels and the crew that the scoop sent you. That rhymed. Hey. So we definitely want you to support Bob's 2901 Northwest 10th Street in Oklahoma City. So let's go ahead and get into this topic.
I don't know what that says. I'm not going to be using that chat either.
You said what?
I won't be using that chat either. If you're sharing pictures, I can't see them. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you. Don't know what that gibberish is.
Welcome to doing the show on your phone.
Yeah, I don't like it. It was fine until right now. I don't like it. So.
Listen, when I used to do it, I hated it too, so I get it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Let's go. What's up, Cicely? How you doing? All right, let's jump into this. So first up, Phylicia Rashad. So for those who don't know, Bill Cosby was released from prison last week. And he was released because the Supreme Court, Pennsylvania Supreme Court, what's up, James? The Supreme Court of Pennsylvania ruled that his conviction was illegal and violated his Fifth Amendment rights, which is the right to not incriminate yourself. And so they overturned his conviction after serving 3 of a 10-year sentence. Phylicia Rashad, after he was released, put up a comment saying that she was glad that it finally happened, glad that a injustice was made right, and of course, she had just been named head of I forgot what
the dean of Howard. I think it's Howard University.
It was a dean
of Arts or something like that.
School of Arts. She made the dean of Howard School of Arts, and so Howard students became enraged, and of course, other people were too. So Keith King, who's in the scoop, posted this question. He said, "Hey, he said, ladies, what am I missing here?" And he quotes part of her in an argument. She said, over the next few weeks, Rashad said she plans to, quote, engage in listening and participate in trainings to not only reinforce university protocol and conduct, but also to learn how I can become a stronger ally to sexual assault survivors and everyone who has suffered at the hands of an abuser. My post was in no way intended to be insensitive to their truth, she wrote. Personally, I know from friends and family that such abuse has lifelong residual effects. My heartfelt wishes is for healing. So Keith asked the question: what are we missing? What's being missed? And I don't really. I kind of I think he assumed. I'm asked like, what did he miss by why she's taking this class? Why was she apologizing? Things like that.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So again, drop your comments as we talk about this. Q. What we missing here?
So I guess we are missing that. I don't know. It's hard to answer this from what are we missing? This should have been happening. Like we should all leaders of universities and institutions where children are supposed to have some type of trust or be told that there should be some type of trust or safety brought into your title should be required to take these types of, or your position should be required to take these types of courses. I think she's apologizing not because of how she feels. She apologized because she chose to tweet it as opposed to just text it to the person that it was about. When she took this particular position, she no longer just became Phylicia Rashad, the actress who supports her long-term friend and co-star. She is now Phylicia Rashad, Dean of Students of Howard University, and you have a different expectation that is held to your presence. So when she said that, it didn't land right. It wasn't just you defending your friend. You get to defend your friend to your friend. Why do you have to defend your friend to all of these people and put all of your stuff on blast? Because we knew how she felt. Phylicia Rashad didn't hold her tongue when he was on trial, when he was convicted. Like, we know how she felt. She's been in trouble for this before. But see, the consequences weren't the same, because she didn't have all of this riding on just being Phylicia Rashad, auntie, mama, whatever. You know what I mean? We want to assess, whatever we want to attach to her, how we look at her. So the reason why she had to apologize is because she's taken on a new role in her life. She's taken on a different position. So regardless of her personal position, her professional one now holds higher regard. So she needs to govern herself accordingly, which is why she's apologizing, and they taking whole syllabus of courses and all that other stuff. I hope there's more. I hope the entire university is enrolled. All of the leaders should be enrolled in that same line of coursework.
So here's my my question. Had she have said, I am glad to see the Fifth Amendment rights of Bill Cosby, that his Fifth Amendment rights were no longer, so she couldn't, so basically no one can say that they agree.
No, I didn't say no one. Phylicia Rashad should not have said anything in support of him.
Is a public who works with students should say that they support him, or that they support his Fifth Amendment rights not being violated or anything like that.
No, I'm not going to say you should never say anything. I think when it was breaking news and within like an hour of it being made public, before people had an opportunity to digest and understand what that means, as far as the average person knows, Fifth Amendment is, when I'm getting arrested, I don't have to say nothing. I have the right to remain silent. If I'm sitting in that booth and you ask me a question, and in the jury, in the witness stand or whatever, you ask me something, I can say I don't want to say nothing. I got my Fifth Amendment right. I'm not going to say nothing. After you've been convicted, doing time, we've seen you actually behind the bars, and now you want to say you're free on Fifth Amendment. The average person is saying, nah, bruh, the time for that is gone. Like, what? So you got to give people the time to do what we've done, because even though we don't like it, the people who feel like he should still, he's guilty, he deserves to be in jail or consequences or whatever, although we understand how this happened, now, you know what I mean? You have to let people digest that. She should not have been one of the first people, team, yada, 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 with with 10 words. You can type more than 10 words on a tweet now. Like, so the fact that she just was so irresponsible with it, knowing the way that her words have carried, do carry, will continue to carry, this was just very irresponsible. It was very irresponsible. So she asked for all this smoke. It's not.
Yeah, I get the responsibility. I do. Yeah. I get the responsibility. I get the need for sensitivity. And I can even get with maybe the timing of it being off. I think my concern is that it would seem that at some point, and maybe it's a timing thing, but like we don't get to that part of the conversation. And maybe, because of the way it's framed.
What part? We don't get to what part of the conversation?
Where we say the part where it's like where someone could say, I'm glad his Fifth Amendment, that the fact that this violation of his Fifth Amendment rights was overturned. And like we're not, like we're not parsing out the fact that this is an actual violation that could happen quite often. And
it does. And I'm sure it does.
No, it's not. It's not executed like it was often.
Okay.
Because typically it's a known law that once you give somebody goes into a civil suit, what's happened in the civil suit can't be used, which is typically why the civil suit happens after the criminal suit. So
the criminal suit, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that it's okay to say that. I do think that, again, I absolutely agree with you. Her timing was probably horrific, but it just seems like with this particular one and some others that you can't even get to that. And I recognize the severity of what the accusations are. I recognize the severity of what was done. I recognize all of that. And as being in this instance, the reason why that discussion is not going to land well with anybody. I get.
Yeah, the details of this make it hard to see the victory in this.
Yeah.
Had this been something where the people were already rooting for it to be a certain way, where half the folks didn't believe that he had done it in the first place, or, it wasn't such a controversial issue surrounding this, you know what I'm saying? And it didn't have all of that other stuff attached to it, then the people would have been probably okay with seeing or being more willing to see the other side. But this has been a conversation that nobody knew this was coming. Like, if you talk about keeping some stuff on the hush, nobody knew this was coming. But any other time, there's been every time Bill Cosby has been discussed since over, the last 3 years, but even before then we were discussing it for 2-3 years before that. Like, this was an ongoing thing. So this is a hot topic. This subject is a hot button. It is now a trigger. Bill Cosby itself and everything under that umbrella is now a trigger. So this was just the bad. You can't pick your case studies, as much as we try. That this one was the one that taught us about the loophole of the Fifth Amendment and that this can happen, so it's harder to digest it. Or that, you know what I mean? But I think mature people can have this conversation. It can happen. I think over time, with the more understanding that we have as we break it down, people that we trust can break down the law to us better and put different, once you can have a conversation enough where you can attach a different crime, a different circumstance away from him, then it gets easier to chew and identify. But as long as you keep these people attached to this example.
I think as long as it is this crime, it's going to be, because when we look at the amount of women, I think I read something that said, if I remember correctly, excuse me if I'm wrong, like 60% of women before the age of 21 have gone through this experience. So that's why I said this particular crime is not, I don't think is going to ever really, it's going to land well. Because of the massive amounts of women who unfortunately have been going through this experience. So
and I know we got to wrap this particular topic, but on the flip of that, I can't disregard the fact, because I agree with the one side of it, where we were just talking about it, like this is just this subject, all of that is just a thing. But you also can't discount that a reason that this conversation has been so triggering for us is because of who Bill Cosby was to our culture.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So like the because of who he is, and the idea of who he is and what he was going to do and all this other stuff has blocked the mindset and the ability to process that this could possibly be something that has happened to these women because of who he is. So the flip of this, that's why I say, if you take these people, this trauma, this issue away from it and replace it with something that's more palatable for the average person, you can have a different conversation. But
Sure.
you know, for those who support him and feel like the black man should have never been and da 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 da, you know, they have a whole laundry list of reasons why this should have been. You know, that's why this argument is the way that it is. So like this took so much necessary conversation away from the primary case. You know what I mean? And now this case, because this should be could be a real learning moment for our community, but we're not having it because of all of the mess attached to.
I was watching
to the thing.
So his lawyer, who Monique Presley, her response. I don't know if you watched her response. She was his lawyer at one point. And so she was the one in 2015 that said, this can't happen. That tells you how long we've been talking about this, but he should not be guilty because this is what the district attorney, you know, she said the district attorney cannot use his civil, his violates Fifth Amendment rights. So she went the exact same thing that then in turn now in 21 is the reasons that he's gotten out. And so when she was asked, I think it was last week, about it, she said, well, it's the same thing I said in 2015. And so they said, so the guy said, so do you think he did it? She's like, whoa, that's not what I'm here for. As his attorney, I'm just here to say, as a former attorney, she's like, you know, when I was representing him, this is not about right or wrong. This is about legal right. That I am, and so I don't think, like, watching her do that as someone who I know as watching her is an advocate, a huge advocate for women, women's rights, was like, that's gotta be a tough place to have to sit in, to sit in the place where you're defending someone who is something that, or who is accused of something, of something that you are against. And so I can get the emotional turmoil that could be happening, and why this is such a charged discussion. But again, like you said, we do have to have this because this is something that, you know, in his case happened because it was this DA was trying to get elected. But how many of our, you know, young boys, young girls, grown boys, grown girls will have to face something like this or need to know this? This is a part of their rights. So I don't know, it's charged. It's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot.
Very much so.
It's a lot. And that's all I got.
I'm hoping this just moves along. Like, if he's home, like, let's just, because there's nothing else he can't be retried. There's nothing else that can happen. Let's just carry on.
Look, now let's do something new. Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Let's keep it moving. So, my good brother David Burris, I don't know if you guys who don't know him, is a relationship coach, made this post. He said, husbands and future husbands, she's often challenging you, not because she wants to make you weak, but because she wants to feel your strength. Your response to her challenge makes her feel secure, knowing that you can be pushed over the edge. That you can't be pushed over the edge. Your meekness is sexy. I'm sorry, let me say it again. She's often challenging you, not because she wants to make you weak, but because she wants to feel your strength. Your response to her challenge makes her feel secure, knowing that you can't be pushed over the edge. Your meekness is sexy. So yeah, when I saw this, first of all, that's my boy. And we're in the similar space. I'm nowhere near where he is, but we're in the same space. And so I was very interested, given he's primarily in the Christian dating sphere. So I was interested to see really how this is viewed by in our community, in this group. There's a lot of non-religious people, and so I was interested to see marriage through that same context. So I was really just interested as to how that was thought to our community. So what do you think?
So I didn't comment on this one on the post, but I didn't interpret challenge the way that the majority of the group interpreted challenge.
Yeah.
I interpret challenge as a comparison of ideas, a conversation. Oh, you want to do this? Okay. So have you thought about what would happen if this happens? You know what I mean? Like, this is a brainstorming, this is a thoughtful, I think strategizing. When I think challenge, I think strategizing, and as where it looks like in a relationship, from a relationship perspective. I think a lot of people looked at it as argument type of thing. And I do think in the context of being able to have a conversation, strategize together, think about conflict resolution, not amongst yourselves, but in the face of whatever thing that you're getting ready to do together, or even by himself. You know what I mean? If he's got an idea that he's trying to do on his own, I would hope he would come to his spouse first to bounce those ideas off, work them through, you know, see how well this is going to work. Hey, babe, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? You know, that type of thing. And then after working those through, him being able to solution those things either with him by himself or with her, you know, in that moment, that is sexy. You know what I mean? Because you're able to be vulnerable enough to share those things with her and take that criticism in the way that it's being given, is I'm trying to make this thing that you love or that you're pouring your energy into better. Like, that's how I interpreted it from him. And I didn't even know that he was like the guy that you just said that he was, like, all the relationship. I didn't even know like that was kind of what he was going for. Like, but I thought of that as just pushing you to be better, especially coming from a man, positioning it that way as something that men should be interested in. So I don't know why it was immediately flipped to the, yeah, you know, she liked to argue with you. She wants you to argue. The fact that you said that, like, I was like, what? And I think both genders took it that way. Like, men and women read it that way. So that one kind of threw me. I didn't put my toe in that water. I kept all of my little swipes to myself on that one. I said, nope. Not today. I won't be little old me out there by myself today.
Yeah.
Not the way them dots was dancing. Somebody is typing a comment. Y'all can have that.
Yeah, this one I was like, oh, this triggered some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I understood. So yeah, I'm gonna start with James. So James Thompson says a lot of men don't feel like constantly being challenged. It's hard enough walking around in the world being a black man. We don't want to come home and be challenged. Yeah, I think that's some of the sentiment that we saw in the comments. Somebody says she needs to not play games. If you're feeling challenged, then either she's playing games or it's a growth opportunity. Donnell says, I know my wife challenges me. Sometimes it's not to expose weakness, but rather she can see potential that longs to be cultivated. Sometimes that indifference can come off as stubborn, so that communicative dialogue makes a huge difference, along with understanding the vision you two have. Chelsea says challenges him because she sees his potential, not because she thinks he or sees weakness in him. Patrice says this is agree. Wade says no. Joseph says play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Dre, I guess the word I'm struggling with is the word challenge. Challenge means to oppose, confront, dispute. We're on the same team. Why challenge me if we're both trying to win side by side? Is it a power struggle? If the roles were reversed, would my wife want me to challenge her just to see her strengths or thought? I'd rather rephrase the word to sharpen. If you're asked tough questions, that sharpens your communication. If we break bread and chew on this, it deepens our understanding and keeps our goals in the forefront, away from complacency. If we're challenging each other, it's trying to convey a dominance over the other, and that's just not my style. Chelsea, I agree with you. Challenge isn't the right word, but I guess I get what you're saying. An example I use is I might give my husband a spelling contest, give my baby a spelling test on the 6th grade words, and she soars. So that shows me she has a high potential to do greater. Okay, so yeah, all right. I understood what he was trying to say. I agree with what he was trying to say. I feel like part of the problem, I think part of the issue, as I processed this, was that sometimes when we're challenging one another, we're not doing it. Our timing sucks a lot of times. Challenging comes across, like Dre said, as confrontation. When I think what David is really trying to, and what a lot of women are trying, and men when we do this, are trying to get across, is that there are holes in what you're saying, or I'm not fully seeing the vision of what you're trying to do. I'm poking holes at this trying, so either you can fill in the pieces, or you can hopefully recognize that this ain't a good idea. I think the problem is, again, we do this at bad timing. We do it at the wrong times, and on top of that, there's not enough of the affirmation or encouragement that happens on the flip side. So if you're always, as James says, feel like you're being challenged, then now you feel like you're an adversary and you don't feel like you're a team player. So I think it's a lot of times the problem is our our timing sucks. And there's also the part of this that we have to realize too, that when we're challenged, especially as men, like that's coming directly at that ego. And if our ego and pride are not in check, or if we're already feeling bad because we're not where we want to be in life, or we failed several things, then now we're in this space. Or same thing as a woman. You're constantly being challenged, but you're not being built up. It's like, you know what? I don't want to hear what you got to say. So I think it can be a combination of, like, we got to make sure that we're self-checking ourselves, that as the person who's listening, but also as the person who's giving this challenge, we also have to make sure, like, we're doing it at a time and in a space that the person can receive what we're trying to say, and recognize that, again, like, I'm not trying to confront you. I'm not trying to, like, down you or say that, like, you suck. I'm really trying to say, I don't get this, and this really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So where are we going? Like, I feel a whole lot of dark. I see a whole lot of dark here. There's no light. There's no direct path here. Where is the path? Where are you trying to take us? So that way, and then as a man, one thing I've had to learn, and I'm going to shut up, is that as a man, I've had to learn that if she does not have a clear vision of the path, she's going to rebel. And she is supposed to rebel because she is asking me to trust her with her life. All that comes with her life, her resources, her virtue, all of that. And as her husband, I need to be able to say, you know what, this is the path, or I only know this far on the path. And that's when what you said comes in. It's even better, which you should realize that typically your partner is the one who can say, okay, you can see this far. Okay, so then answer this, and this. So we can make it a little clearer. Cool. Okay, now let's go. So
I'm so glad you said that.
Do that, because that's typically what she is there for, and vice versa, what he is there for when it's him challenging her or sharpening or whatever word we want to use. But you know, it happens.
Yep.
It definitely does.
I'm glad you said that, especially after speaking so much about timing and how important it is, because yes, it is absolutely important. And often when we talk about this, we say, you know, like let's just say it's too hard to do the gender gymnastics. In this particular situation, we're talking about a man being challenged by a woman. So in all of the further examples out of my lips, it will be him and her. Okay, I'm not doing the woman. I'm not doing that. So like, no. So in this situation, you know, ideally, you know, bro would come in all super excited about a thing, and he's supposed to tell her this and have all of the baby. And she's supposed to be, oh my God, yes, I'm so excited. Let's do it. Yay. You know, and that is the example of the supportive wife that every man wants to come home to with his wonderful goal in plan. You know, it's He's got his dry erase board all set up and his Excel spreadsheet, PowerPoint, all that stuff. Baby, let's go, and she came, but we don't take into account, what prior could have been going on, what other stresses have happened in the household, what has even motivated this wonderful brain child that we're coming through the door with, bursting through the door. Is it because last night we didn't get no sleep because we was up trying to balance a checkbook that ain't got nothing to balance, and we know that such and such is on the way, and now you coming in with something else that's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, so we have to, when you talk about timing is not one-sided. Timing is not only to get the reaction that you want to have. Timing is to make it so that you can move forward in truth in your action plan and what it is that you're going to do. Because like, nobody wants to be lied to. Don't sell me no dreams that later on, after I've gone and done the thing that you were so yippee-yi-ko-yay about before. Now, I told you, I knew this wasn't gonna work. Like, sis, don't do that. Like, that's not helpful. So the next time he got a thing, he gonna go sneak the money. He gonna do the thing. He gonna lose the money. You're gonna be feeling even worse. And now you're packing the stuff and doing the waiting to exhale in the line. You know what I'm saying? So like, let's not do this. So let's just use our words. And say the thing, and everybody be mindful of the time. Be mindful of that timing, because security is important. You need to be, as a man, secure that you can bring her your most vulnerable, sometimes half-cocked plans, and she can help you piece them together. You trust her enough to help you piece it together so you can take it out on the road. To me, that's what ideally it's supposed to be. You, whatever it is, you can bring it to me, and I can show you what ain't gonna fly out to the people. So you ain't looking crazy. We ain't looking crazy. You gonna win. I want us to win. Let's put it together. Let's get it right. Because I love you. I ain't gonna talk to you great. I ain't gonna talk to you like they gonna talk to you. I'm trying to save you from them talking to you like the people talk to you. You know what I mean? But you have to have those conversations sometimes with our people, especially when it's life decisions. You know what I mean? This stuff is gonna affect everybody. You got to be able to hear it from the person you laying down with. That's who affects it.
I think
so,
if you,
who it affects.
Yeah, but I think you're exactly right. And if you can't do it, I think one of the things I always realize, if you can't do that, then that, to me, that says you probably ain't ready to.
You're not ready.
You're probably not.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. When I say not ready, I mean, like, you need to. I'm always like, look, at this point, beat me up in private. Yes. That way in public, it's all right. And I mean, my thing is, you know how I am. Like, I give y'all something like, hey, tell me what y'all think. And y'all be like, that ain't gonna work. Who won't? So just ask you something about the ball. Who asked for this? I was like, really? Okay.
Because we've done this how many times? Like, we've talked about this.
And I'm like, and I was like, yeah.
And you laughed at it too. You didn't reply for a minute. You just LOL me and went on about your day.
I was like, all right, have a nice day. But you just got to know, like, you got to. That's what people are supposed to do for you. Your circle is supposed to be able to say. Your partner's supposed to say, "Hey, this is not good. That wasn't good." Like,
or just not yet. Not always not good. Just not yet.
Or sometimes it's not good. Let's just be honest. Sometimes.
Look, I'm still trying to make it better now.
Sometimes it's just not good. In that instance, not yet. But yeah, it's like it's not good. All right. Cicely says, if it don't challenge you, it won't change you. A lot of people are so sensitive over word choices these days. Calm down. Will promote your betterness to be more palatable. Same thing, but yes, the way it's done does matter. Yep. Again says, I think that maybe the brother was offering an excuse for his wife's challenging behaviors towards him, rather than saying my wife is too confrontational. He is giving her the benefit of the doubt. Men don't want that type of energy from our women. A man shouldn't have to be convinced with aggression by his wife to be who he needs to be.
We've gone from challenge to aggression and everything. We've attached a lot more adjectives to aggression. To challenge.
I'm actually going to push back, disagree on that one too. I think sometimes we need to aggressively be challenged. And when I say, and I don't mean like physically, but you don't need to hit me. But I think that there are sometimes a good swift kick in the behind by your wife is necessary, depending on the type of man. I think there are some men who need that, and that, but I think there's some type of men who don't. So I think that's where it comes to knowing what your partner is. But I don't think I think I think, again, to his point, his last sentence, he says, like, your meekness is sexy. I think that's I think there's some truth to that too. Since I think that a woman does respect a man who is firm. A woman respects a man who is, secure. A woman respects a man who's not, who has thought out his plans and can defend his plan. Not so much, try to physically, I'll use James's word, aggressively try to force it, but can say, listen, but can, again, with meekness meaning strength under control, tell her what he's doing, why he's doing it. This is, I would agree with that part. I think that for 99.99999% of the women in this world, to be with a man like that says safety, says security, says, okay, even if I might not necessarily see where he going, but he seemed like he got it. I'm just going, okay, go ahead, do what you got to do, and we're going to go. And I think that as a man, if that is your consistent posture, you get a whole lot less kickback. That is how you are consistently.
Yep.
So
I have nothing to add to that. But yep.
Yeah. Hey, Shanae. He says, what is the biggest complaint Black men have with our women?
The biggest, like one?
They don't listen.
They
don't listen.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah. They don't listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, most Black men will tell you that they don't feel like the Black women listen to them. But again, I think that there's several layers. There's definitely, I think it's time to start addressing. I'm not sure what that means. If we're referring to women not listening, I think that's what we are referring to.
You know what's funny about that? Did you just that? Sorry, I didn't realize you were sitting. Go ahead.
No, I was saying that is a part of the elephant in the room. Is that a lot of times there's definitely times women don't listen. That's not. We're not going to even pretend that. Last week we adequately discussed that happens. But I think again, like we were talking with this particular instance, there are things that we have to do, and if a woman doesn't choose not to listen to you, I mean, I'm just saying, I just don't believe in not fighting. I don't think we should. Somebody who's gonna respect you and listen to you and want to have dialogue with you. If a woman don't want to do that, why are we gonna be with you?
True. It's funny that Shanae asked that question and the answer was listen. And then when I thought to myself, okay, I had to immediately go, yeah, that's probably true. And I thought to myself, what would be the thing that women would say that is our biggest frustration with men? It would be that it's action, the lack of action. You know the thing. You say you know the thing. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. But then we're like, okay. So like, well, where's the stuff? Like, where's do it? You know what I mean? If you know you got it, you say you understand it, then go do it. And my point is, women are supposed to be the great and wonderful communicators, listeners. We're all the empath and the feelers, and that's supposed to be our jam. It's assumed that that's the thing that we're supposed to be the best at. And men are supposed to be the action takers, the doers. They're supposed to be the ones that have the confidence and the aggression and are giving the freedom to act. And those are the two things that we are expected to do, whether it be culturally, societally, emotionally, whatever it may be. And those are the biggest frustrations that we have with one another. So is it that those are the things that we're supposed to be doing? Or is it that we got to totally rework how this thing is supposed to go and allow people to be weak in certain areas and get away from the assumption so that we can meet each other in the middle and have substantive conversation? Because if I've learned nothing, it is, in my few months that I've been in therapy, is you cannot assume that everybody knows. Just because they've heard the words, it does not mean that they've processed and understood. So while the men say, yeah, I hear you, that's totally different than I listen, I've understood and comprehended enough to where I can go and act on the thing that you've asked me to do. Women can hear you say the few things that you say, because I'm going to say the few because we say men don't talk. I'm just going to, go along that line. The few things that you say, and we assume that we've heard enough to be able to communicate it back to you of what you're feeling because we're the feelers. No, we don't. We don't we don't do as well as that as we've obviously thought we did, or else these men wouldn't feel so misunderstood. So like, it's time for us to have a real honest conversation about what it is that we're lacking, what we're really good at, what we need to be better at, because we are obviously messing it up. Like, there's no debate that those are the things that we are sucking at. More women say, he don't do the things. I can't trust him to do the things. And she don't hear me. She don't listen. This is like that. Good call, Shanae. That was a good follow-up question. Like, you unlocked a whole nother hot topic.
That was James that asked that one.
James, okay. Thank you, James. Yes, that was good.
What she say? Okay, she just answered your question. That question, James. Cicely said, I wish I had the challenge of not listening more so than the challenge of not having anything to respond to. Give me some material to not listen to.
Anything. Give me something I can play like I'm ignoring. Anything is better than nothing. You know what?
The reality is that Black marriages are failing, and whenever a man says, hey, this is the problem, we all find a way to depress the conversation.
Say it again.
The reality is that Black marriages are failing, and anytime a Black man, are failing, and whenever a man says, hey, this is the problem, we all find a way to depress the conversation. We don't do that.
No,
we don't do that. I think we do a pretty good job of laying the blame where it is and disagreeing when we disagree. Right? And maybe, okay, so this is a good time for me to say this. I think that the one thing that I would love, and this is for everybody to understand, is like the goal of our conversation is understanding and progress. And so I think that Q and I, other guests, anybody who comes on here, when we have our discussion, even on the topics, we recognize, first of all, that our goal is to both be able to say male and female opinions, to figure out why we misunderstand and why we miscommunicate, and then figure out how we can make a better understanding for both, so we can move forward in a relationship. Mm-hmm. We are not a show that is going to be male centric or female centric. It's not who we are.
Ever. The point of having one of each of us.
Kevin Samuels gives y'all what y'all want on the one end. Derek Jackson and all the others give you what you want on the other hand. We're here for solutions. So
we're Switzerland. The scoop is Switzerland. Okay, we want peace on the scoop. This is where everyone can come together and make it happen.
I really want to see, and this is not a shot at anybody, James, for your comment, but this is what I was going to say anyway today. But you just gave me a great lead into it, so thank you. Is that we want to be the place where we say, you know what, men are wrong sometimes, women are wrong sometimes in this instance, and let's figure out, as Black men and Black women, as men and women, how we can come together, because we're not always right, we're not always wrong, they're not always wrong, and so how can we do that better? So I want to make sure that that's clear, that is exactly who we are and exactly what we're trying to, and we love and value and need your comments, all of your comments, agreements, disagreements. So it would help us, because I don't have all the male perspective and Q don't have all the female perspective. And so we're perfectly fine with that. So I want to throw that out there. So, all right.
That's why challenge wasn't such a bad word for us. Challenge didn't trigger us in that, because like challenge is supposed to happen. That's how you get better, when you constructively challenge each other. That was a very good sidebar, bro. I completely agree.
And I'm okay with, I think I'm okay with us saying, like, disagreeing today, knowing that in a couple of days we're gonna come back and have this conversation again, because now we're gaining more, which is I think what happens in relationships, where we're coming back and forth and saying, look, I don't agree with that today. Let me think about what you just said today. Come back. You know what? We talked about it, and we got to the 20-yard line. Let's try to move this to the 30 and the 40. We're gonna move this thing down the field eventually. So I think that's what we're doing. we're having those conversations. So I appreciate, man, I definitely appreciate you guys' comments.
Yep.
Let's see. Shanae says, I found that when we agreed on two different things in our mind, and then at the end we'd be like, oh, that's not what I meant. Absolutely. That's the beautiful part about conversation. That's exactly what it is. Problems in the Black community: lazy Black men, fatherless homes, lack of femininity. Our women don't listen to us. They listen to each other. Are these things true or false? As a whole,
what was that? Say it again.
Problems in the Black community: lazy Black men, fatherless homes, that's a problem. Lack of femininity, that's a problem. Our women don't listen to us. They listen to each other. That at times is very problematic. Are these things true? Yeah, all of those things are problems. They're not the only problems, but they're problems. Absolutely. But these things are true when we have these conversations. Again, we do. So all the time.
Welcome.
All the time. So yeah, absolutely. They're definitely problematic. Definitely. Again, they're not the only problem, but they definitely problems.
No.
And we're gonna keep talking about them. All right, here's oh Lord Jesus. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So Mr. J says, Johnny J, when I go on vacation, everything is on me. I pay for flights. I book and pay for the suite. I pay for all meals. I pay for the event tickets, the club, the booth, the bottle, and all the drinks. Not only that, I pay to get her hair done, her mani and pedi, and I would pay to get her weave, but I love hair on, oh, excuse me, not weave. He said wax, sorry. I would pay to get her waxed, but I love her hair on the kitty. I take pride and get off on personally grooming and trimming that for her. But other than that, I pay for everything. The reason I take care of these things is because I want her to operate in her feminine energy. I want her to be comfortable in it and roll around and bathe in it. And I'm mature enough to know that as a man, you can't complain about a woman's feminine energy if you're not creating a space for it to flourish. I know what you deal with on a day-to-day basis in the world, but when I go on vacation, the only thing I want you to go half on is these nasty videos we're going to make in the hotel room. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, am I the only lady that after reading that long description of what he does prior to vacation, that when he said roll around and bask in it, did you like visually see yourself doing this? Because I swear to God, I did. After reading all of that, and then he's hit us with, I want her to roll around and bask in her feminine. Yes, yes, sir. Okay, I sure will. Starfish all over the place. Yes. Yes, sir. I am here for it. Yes, if that is something that you are able to do and those are truly your intentions, like if that is truly the goal, to be able to provide an experience like that, because he does recognize, I think some folks got stopped at all the stuff he said he was going to pay for and like did not read the whole intention behind it at the end of it. Like, did y'all really find fault in this after reading what the man said?
That's stupid.
He said it was vacation. Like, it's a vacation. Damn.
They said, okay, daddy. Okay, daddy.
Yes, okay, okay. Like grinning, okay? Like I don't understand. Like this post was in like 15 different groups that I'm in, ladies groups, mixed groups. Listen, this one, and it's like 2 other posts that are going around where the men are just, it's just these types of things trigger the hell out of a certain group of people. Like, I don't understand it, but I saw nothing wrong with this. Like, if this is what you are able to do comfortably, where your bills get paid when you get back to the house, ain't nobody stressed about it, you all genuinely enjoy each other, honey, Yes, yes. Carry on. Go forth. You will never be alone on vacation. You will always have a willing, happy, enthusiastic participant wherever you might want to stamp your passport, sir. Have a very good time. Like, you and sis, enjoy yourselves. Like, I don't see anything wrong with this. Nada. Nothing. Nope. Go on. Carry on, Winnie.
I'm interested. Like, there's comments in here where people saying that he has a motive. I'm like, he does. He clearly says what the motive is.
Half on the tape.
He wants nasty videos. I mean, that's what he wants. Like, there's no hiding here. So, yeah, I don't.
And sis is on Pinterest looking for poses. Okay, she's not upset. Like, she's not upset. She's happy to go half. Okay.
So I think the people who this triggered are the people who can't do it. And so I think I'll equate the, who can't do it and somehow see this as she can't operate in her feminine energy if I can't pay, if I can't do that. And I don't think that's what he's saying. I don't think that's what he's saying at all, because some women are perfectly fine with doing it. However, I think for every man, for most men, let me not say that. I think for most men, what he's saying is what we all want to do. Like, what man doesn't want to do this for his woman? I think that as a man, if you can't do it, I mean, it don't make you any less of a man, but I think
when it comes to the men who can, this is where you take notes.
If you're working towards it, if you're doing it, if you out there hustling and working hard for your family, I can promise you, her feminine energy is gonna be just fine, and she gonna be willing to make whatever video you want to make if you out there doing what you got to do. So I think that, to me, that's the type of person that's where it triggers. But other than that, I don't see what's wrong.
No. I have a question. I can't look at that post right now because, phone situation. But at the beginning of that, does he say anything like a real man or good men, or does he say I'm the type of man? How does he position this? Is he saying like you're not really a man if you don't do these things, or is it more or less this is just what I like to do for me and mine?
Well, so I think his he doesn't say any, what he says, what I read. His hashtags are grown man ish and grown men matter. So,
but I mean, how did he begin this? What was that? How was this positioned? Was this a get like me, or was this this is how I get down?
He started out by saying, when I go on vacation, everything is on me. That's his first sentence.
Okay.
That's it. So again, I don't see him saying, I don't see him anywhere where he said, hold on.
I was trying to find a loophole just in case, because I don't really dig those, a real man or good men or the right time. I don't dig those. But if it's just you telling how you like to get down and you can do it, I don't really have a problem with that. I was trying to figure out why folks were so upset by it. Like, it was
in the comments, he said, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
In the comments, he said, he responds to somebody and says, it's not about her having feminine energy when you meet her. Every woman has feminine energy, but a whole lot of women have had to do the man and the woman part. A lot of women have had to protect themselves out here and can't fall back and relax. That's why I said provide a place for her to flourish. Allow her to let go and be what she was meant to be, soft and feminine. But some women have to be masculine in relationships because the men are operating in the feminine. I've said this for years too. I'm gonna say it again. I don't think that there's a such thing as a woman who enjoys operating in any type of masculine energy. I don't think any woman enjoys that. I think the women who do feel like they have to. I think some have to when they meet a man who is masculine, are typically willing to stop. I think there are some who need to learn how to stop a lot sooner. Some of y'all be doing too blasted much, trying to make a man prove to you that he is.
Yeah, for too long, too long.
Listen, I'm not gonna walk on water for you, ma'am. There's only one Jesus, and so sometimes y'all do too much. But no woman wants to not operate in. Just like I don't think any man really wants to operate in feminine energy. I don't think we want to do that. I think a lot of us have acquiesced to that to try to make women feel comfortable or make whatever, but I don't think any woman wants that. I think every man wants to be masculine, every woman wants to be feminine, and I think that's okay.
Yeah, it's a primary feeling. If you have to primarily respond in the opposite of how you are originally wired, there's going to be some type of discomfort at some point that's going to set in for either sex. If a man has to spend too much time in the touchy-feely space, a little bit is okay. Almost refreshing from what I've heard some fellas say. Like, it's good from time to time to get it out, to feel vulnerable enough with someone to know you can get your ish out and it be in a safe place. Like, that's necessary. We're human. But no man wants to always have to talk. Like, every Friday at 7 p.m., she gonna want to talk about the week's issues and all the Like, no man wants to do that. The same way no woman wants to balance half of all of the things and all of the payment and all of the things that are, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't happen. So on vacation, where the idea is supposed to be to relax, yes, none of this I don't have any problem with any of it.
I'm about the most talkingest man you gonna meet, and I'm telling you, I don't want to do it. So
right,
I could tell you, no man wants to do that at all. James, you said that's where you were trying to, where you were trying to go, but you want to be confrontational. Say what were you trying to, where you were trying to go? Put that in the comments. But yeah, I think that again, it goes back to like I think if what triggered people was the fact of whether you can and cannot pay, and whether she has feminine energy and can only be shown when you pay for everything, I think that is the problem. That's probably what triggered people, but that's not. I think that's missing the point. The point is the effort. The point is the try. I mean,
the intention,
the attention, those types of things. Let's see. He says the brother said that when a man makes space for the woman to operate in her femininity, she will. But flip the script. Do women also need to make space for man in order for him to walk in his masculinity? Yes. Yep.
Yes.
That's the problem I have with this. God put these in us already. We like to make our love conditional, making it a reward for me to act naturally. Yeah, we agree with that. That's exactly what we were just saying. Yep. Yeah, I think we all have our. And again, now my only pushback to not to what he just said, but in general, is that these definitions of what masculine and feminine are, we might need to relook at those. Because just like this whole, what was it last week? Was it the last week we were talking about the alpha male versus beta male? Like, I think all of that gets convoluted in what masculinity looks like at times. Yeah, no, I think we were created to be certain ways, and we should just be that and be okay and make space for it. No argument.
Yep.
No argument. Like I said, I don't know no woman who is out here like, I just love my masculine energy. I don't want to let it go. I think there's some who have been through so much trauma and so much, so many situations that it's like, listen, that this is their default. I think they also think it handles some things different in terms of how we're raising our boys and girls, and to be masculine, feminine, how to be protectors, how to provide, how to be providing, how to be, the things that not just the like, are you the home care versus the person who makes the most money, but on a
so much deeper than
of what it means to really be a partner to somebody, both male and female. So, which is, I think, I think it's that pendulum thing. I think it's that we were so far on one end, and now, you got the group who wants us to go back to the 70s where women stayed in the kitchen and men made the money. And then, it's like you have the group that's like on the other total opposite end of the pendulum, where that ain't working, because that's not who we are. Like, men in the kitchen all the time, and women ain't always gonna provide all the time. It's not how it is. So we got to figure our way back to that spot that says, listen, as a man, I'm fully going to step into what I do and who I am as a man. And as a woman, I got to give you, and then not only give you the space, giving you the space is only half the battle. I have to actually, as your partner, encourage you and support you and push you to say, listen, you are not operating in the fullness of who you are. And as your partner, I want you to be that. So what do we need to do to get where you need to get to? Because I know as your partner that there is more in you than that. I know as your as your husband that there's more in you than to this box that you are containing yourself to. So let's get you to that next step. That's the next step. Not to just say I'm gonna give you space to do it. No, I'm gonna give you more than space. I'm gonna put my foot in your behind. I'm gonna say go take the class, go whatever you need to do. But we're gonna get this right, because on my watch, you are not going to be less of the woman that you were created to be. So
super agree.
All right. Let's see. All right. Elegance by Design. Tell us about it.
That's me. I can't see the ad. I can't see anything. This is so rough. I almost don't.
You can't see that? Do you see that?
No, I haven't seen any of the pictures you put up all night. Like, I don't know what's up until you tell me what you're talking about.
It's Blocked and Beautiful.
Blocked and Beautiful? Okay. Y'all know it's box braid season. Okay. It is box braid season. We are putting our hair up. We are doing all of our protective styles, whether you are 2-strand twisting, box braiding, locking, if you are French rolling, whatever it is that you are doing to tuck and roll your coils this summer, the Blocked and Beautiful Braid Balm is the perfect solution for that. It is going to tame your coils and curls into the styles that you want while still allowing them to be touchably soft. I don't do hard hair at Elegance by Design, so all of our products allow you to brush through when it's time to restyle or remove or reshape your hair. I love these products because they're clean. When you wash your hair, you don't have all the buildup and residue and things like that. I saw baby girl Peyton that I braided her hair like almost 3 months ago. Sis's braids still look good. Okay. Like still look good as I see her in her photos. So like this product allows your hair to stay tucked, protected within, if you're using braid hair or anything like that, if you are actually putting your hair away, this product is amazing for it. So visit elegancebydesign.com. It is $10 for a 4-ounce container. I do not have one sitting right here because I cleaned up my office area, but it is an amazing product. It is also available at the Back to My Roots Marketplace, along with quite a few of our other products. So be sure and stop by there as well here in Del City, Oklahoma. elegancebydesign.com. All right.
Then we get so just so if you don't know, if you have not gotten my book, How to Survive Relationship Storms, get it at bit.ly blah 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 blah. I'm gonna start speaking in tongues. Backsplash Blue Storms.
Child, go buy this man's book. We don't want. I can't translate tongues. There ain't no translation.
Backslash Blues. That's a lot of B's in there. I just realized that. Blue Storms.
Yeah.
So go get the book. We're talking about again how to survive and thrive through the storms of relationships. Pick it up. And then last, what am I missing? Oh, so you still have a couple of days if you want to be a part of the next Dear Fire Starter. Lord Jesus, Dear Fire Starter segment. So every fourth Tuesday, we have the Fire Starter on, and so she wants to give you complimentary coaching. So if you want to be a part of that segment, you need to email her at firestarterpassion@gmail.com. And the 3 things that she wants to know is, number 1, what is your situation? Number 2, what have you already done to deal with it? And number 3, how can the Fire Starter help you? And what are your questions? So again, send the email to firestarterpassion@gmail.com, and Cicely will respond to you forthwith and let you know more details. You don't have to be on the show.
Did you say forthwith?
Yes. You don't have to be on the show to participate. We just your information, and she can then do the coaching. You can if you want to, but you don't have to, because we understand that some people want to be private and don't want to talk about their issues over the air. So your information won't be given, your name won't be given on the show if she does talk about your situation. Cool. All right. That's it. All right, let's jump into these next topics. Whoo, yeah, Lord. This next of course, making most of our headlines this week, we know that our favorite 100-meter sprinter, Sha'Carri Richardson, was suspended for 30 days after testing positive for THC, or aka the weed, as Stephen A would say. And so Derek Day, one of our members, he dropped this post in this group. He said Sha'Carri Richardson didn't do anything irresponsible. Her using cannabis hurt no one and did nothing to enhance her competitive performance. She did what she did was make the mistake of believing she was a sovereign moral agent with the freedom to do as she pleased with her body. Consuming cannabis is no worse than the other big four of American drugs: tobacco, alcohol, caffeine, and sugar. These four are responsible for more illness and death than cannabis ever even possibly could. Time to destigmatize it if we don't completely legalize it. She shouldn't be forced to apologize for her actions. Carrie Richardson doesn't need to use this as motivation to reach her full potential. This country needs to see this as a further exposure of its racism and silly quasi-Christian morality. Q, what are your thoughts? What do you think about the whole situation?
Okay, thank you. So I think this is a very unfortunate situation. I think it is very unfortunate that, one, that we are still doing this back and forth with the legalization of marijuana, which is causing so much undue stress and expense and unnecessary misinformation as it relates to cannabis in the United States. So I am all for the legalization of it on a federal level, to the point where or the decriminalization of it, to the point where we can stop all of this back and forth and the consequences and all this other stuff, goal shattering that is happening, not just in the Olympics, but there's a lot that is attached to this one particular subject. So I think it is extremely unfortunate that this is what is going to keep this baby from representing the United States in the Olympics. With that being said, Sha'Carri did not position herself as a regular old person out here that y'all just happen to pick up off the street and decide that she can run fast and go to the Olympics. This is a lifelong journey that this child has set herself on. I say child, she's 21, I'm almost 40. So, I mean, she's going to be a child to me in this particular conversation. So, yeah. But like, she has positioned herself to be one of, if not the fastest women in the world. So to know, even with all that she's gone through with the passing of her mother and all of that, you also still have to know what it is that you are trying to set out to do. I don't know if everyone has found out or not, though, she's not going to be able to compete at all. She was not chosen to be on the relay team, because initially everyone was saying, oh, well, she's not going to be able to do the 100 meters. She could potentially hold out for the relay team. That wasn't a guarantee. There was always still a choice to be made, even before this happened. You know what I mean? We assumed a lot because of who she was and the talent that we saw. And that should, be ideally all that it takes. But that's not the case. That's not the case. There are rules. There is a standard. There is something that is supposed to set you apart from the regular people. So you knew your assignment. Although you were hit with obstacles, you might have thrown in a bonus, a pop quiz along the way with some of the obstacles that you had to encounter. However, this is unfortunately the consequences that that are in place based on the offense that she did. You know what I mean? The fact that she's not, when I read the response of the Olympic team and why they did not choose her, although it sucks, it makes sense. It makes sense. We have the time. This, in a lot of ways, has proven to the boards, the people that be, the endorsements, wherever the Olympics is going to be next time, we cannot have all of this extra-ish attached to our event. We're going to have to keep the money flowing. We're going to have to keep the people happy. We're going to have to stay out of the headlines for this BS going forward. How can we fix this? Because this is not the only person that's been affected by cannabis. It will not be, especially 2-4 years from now. It absolutely will not be the only person popping on that test, because it's not a performance enhancing drug. It does not, especially for things going fast. Sorry. Do your research. Everybody likes to say that. Do your research. THC doesn't do anything fast. Okay, cannabis does nothing fast. So, let's just not do that. But I think, as much as it sucks, y'all know this baby gives me goosebumps when I talk about her. Like, I am excited to see what comes next from her, but sis gonna have to sit this one out. And I hope that she gets it together. She recoups, she gets her brain right, she gets her mind right, she gets her body right, her sister, her core people in her path, and her crew, get everybody tighten up, get everybody together so you can show out. You can come up and show out. Period. Like, that's all I can really say. I hate to say it. God knows I hate to say it. I want to be pissed. But I really can't. I can't be that upset at them for this. I can't.
Yeah, I'm pissed. Like, I'm upset for her.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, this is something I know she's worked towards. I'm also, like, I got a lot of questions. Like, I'm serious. Like, where your people?
Mm-hmm.
Where were your people?
Getting high with her. They were all grieving. Her people are grieving.
I get grieving, but, like, where's the person? Like, ain't nobody on the team be like, hey, the Olympics, like, the Olympics say you can't do this.
Right.
You can't, like, that's what I was like, ain't nobody stop her, or nobody had the like, no coach, because I thought, like, in boxing, when you're in boxing training for a match, you go away and you are isolated from all of the outside world, so that stuff like that, that can't happen. Your trainer is solely responsible. Your team is solely responsible for keeping out outside stuff, so you can't do that. I was like, where her people? Like, where her people? Because, again, this is not, and I think also we have to remember this isn't the United States. Like, this ain't a USA race. So even if we federally legalize it in America, this is the world stage. So
that's a point. I forgot it. That's a good point. It's not even just our laws we're worried about.
The IOC. This is, you got to go to them, and that means every country that is participating then has to sign off on it, or majority of them. I don't know what the vote is, to now legalize this as a legalize as a substance that they're not going to suspend you for. So I think that's why I'm saying, like, it has to be that much tighter. Around her, around anybody. Like, the reality is, going back to just like we're talking about with Phylicia Rashad, the higher the stage, the greater the responsibility. The higher the elevation. And this is one thing I wish people understood about money, about wealth, about popularity, about exposure. Like, exposure is great until everybody got access to your life and to your business. And you deal with all of this stuff on your platform that normal people don't have to deal with. A normal person could have said what Phylicia Rashad said and been fine.
Nobody would have said
it's a problem. A normal person would have been totally we would have understood, like, you just found out this happened to your mom, you found out in a public way, you found out on Facebook, you found out on the interview,
right?
Oh yeah, I get it. But when you have a platform, when you blessed with that, like, that's the responsibility. Unfortunately, not only say unfortunately, but that's just the responsibility of where culture is. And so we have to understand that, whether, like, to Derek's point, whether this is racism or another example of quasi-Christianity, it very well might be. But until we do the work to change the rules.
It can be all those things and still be the rule that we have to follow.
Now, if it was and I know there were conversations in the group about, Michael Phelps versus this, and I'm like, Michael Phelps got suspended. So like Michael Phelps.
And it was after. It was not in preparation for the Olympics.
And he still got
we weren't in this stage of the game for him.
And he still got suspended longer. I mean, it's like
and still got suspended.
We got again. This is just the rules, and I'm not saying it's a just rule, because what I wrestled with was that that Dr. King, unjust law is no law at all. But then I thought, though I agree with that, but you still got to do the work to change law. So.
Mm-hmm. We do. And then I also have to think about what you said as far as the world is concerned. You know what I'm saying? Like, how quickly are we going to be able to get the world on board to say cannabis is okay for the Olympics? This is not just regular sports we're talking. We are talking about these people have to train and qualify to be considered the best, the very best. So to assume that they're going to be able to conduct themselves as regular old folks is just ignorant of us. It's not true. They're going to have rules that regular average folks should not be able to meet. Like, everybody should not be able to be an Olympian. Like, they just shouldn't. This participation trophy, she's black like me, so she should be able to do all the things just because she's black like me. That does not apply. We have to be back. We have to ground ourselves. Sorry. We are so excellent. We too can follow hard rules, but it's really not that hard to not smoke while you're going to be an Olympian. Like, it's not that hard. Sorry. It can't be when you've got all that at risk, all the endorsements, all the opportunity, all of the other things. I'm sorry. It sucks, but you can bounce back. She's young. She can come back. It sucks.
She's 21. You got, I read only a part of why they didn't pick her for the relay. I think it says something like, because in order to be fair to everybody else. I was like, okay. Probably.
Changing it in the middle of the season, I think, is what it was. Like, changing it in the middle for just this situation when they've suspended, other people have been penalized, all this other stuff. It's like we would bend the rules because of all of the hoopla. Whereas if someone also got disqualified, we're now discounting their potential talent because they didn't get as much press. You know what I mean? So, like, it's not.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I can't.
Yeah, because if it was reversed and somebody else got off and she didn't, we'd be saying the same thing. Well, look at that. So, like,
are you with that one? Okay. Yeah, I didn't read the full.
That's why I was like, it sucks, but it makes sense. Like, it was a sound judgment. Them people didn't want to put that girl out of these, all the smoke they was about to get, all of the good stuff they was talking about it.
And we trying to win. Like, I don't care what you do. Say you want to win.
That man was pissed he couldn't put on the team. I can't put you on this team now. Can you imagine that conversation they must have had with one another to know that she wasn't being chosen for that team, to know that he had to snatch that baby's dream, that backup dream, not only the father first, but the backup dream too, for not only you, but the whole damn nation. Everybody was Team Chicago.
I had a conversation with somebody who said, and summed it up well, said that the thing we got to realize is that the greater the platform, the more discipline you have to have. I always say that your character has to match your platform. And the problem is typically that character always trails behind, and that most of us don't actually have to show our character in public. But if you want to maintain higher levels of life, that's just the reality of it. You just have to have a certain level of character, certain kind of integrity, certain kind of discipline in your life, a certain team around you. Otherwise,
and that's where the young generation is struggling right now, because no matter how much you want to rock and shake things up, that part won't change. And as you mature, you'll understand the necessity of that. That sound judgment is made in good character and well thought out, disciplined decisions. That is how things are maintained long term. We can't all just fly out and just because I feel it, I want it, and like that doesn't.
I told somebody, I said, yeah, you can do all that all you want, but are you ready to pay for what you're about to do? Because what you're about to do comes with a cost. And I said, I told somebody, I said, the person who usually is the ish starter is usually the one that gets shot first. So are you
takes the biggest consequence, the hardest hit.
You ready to take the bullet for what you're about to do? Because if you're ready to take the bullet, knock yourself out. But if you're not, be aware that there are consequences for every action that we take. And that doesn't mean don't take them. It just means we can't be ignorant that it's not that there aren't consequences present.
Yeah. We are far few revolutionaries than we think. There are far few of us.
That's why
We like to
love them.
sound like revolutionaries until it's coming, and then we're like, oh wait.
That's why we love them, because we don't have to do it. So God bless them.
Pick your revolution. You can't have all the war. You can't have all the fights. You can pick your war and ride out with that one, but you can't be a revolutionary for everything. Too funny.
All right, let's go. Keep going. Tabitha and Wendy. So
the reed heard across the world. In a
whisper. Yeah. Tabitha,
in a whisper.
Tabitha and Tabitha Brown. So for those who don't know who Tabitha Brown is, Tabitha Brown is a chef. Is she a celebrity chef?
She is a personality. She's an actress, but she don't cook nothing. She got big and famous from her reaction video to a vegan sandwich.
Vegan stuff, yeah. So
yeah. But she just now started cooking. Like that's now her thing. But
she's got, because I mean she's got a whole line of stuff with McCormick now. So Tabitha Brown announced that she is retiring her husband. 15 years on the LAPD. I guess their agreement was that once she got herself going, he will retire and chase his dreams. Now they're retiring. Well, this was on Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams tells her that basically to be careful, that this is something that could backfire, because now as you retire your husband, she has experienced in her own personal life as well as in others that men don't typically do well with this and get bored and cheat and leave and run off with the money and et cetera, et cetera. Tabitha,
and then it's her fault. That's whatever. And then it becomes her fault when he does those things.
Tabitha then in turn gives Wendy Williams, like you said, the read of the year, of the decade, and tells her, honey, I hope love finds you.
Bless your heart. She blessed her heart.
And told her that you need to, that was a situation and that ain't mine. My husband sacrificed for me, so I'm going to do what I promised I was going to do. Yeah. So since then, now, the conversation has turned. I guess yesterday, a couple of days ago, she had a party for him, a retirement party for him, which looked very nice. And yeah, so you can pick Ivan. So you were telling me about something that's the current part of this thing that's happening.
Yes. So this conversation is spinning in a different direction now. So it was pretty much understood that Tab won the read between she and Wendy. Wendy ain't said a mumbling word since Tab responded. But since that's happened, like Gwen said, there's been the party. There's a hashtag that's gone viral. There was a photographer. They've done, I've seen up until maybe 10 or 15 minutes before we went live, she was still posting snippets from the party. And, they flew in all these guests, and they've done I think there's been a live video where they were together talking about the whole choice that they were making and all this other stuff. And now the conversation is shifted from Wendy to, yeah, Wendy was being messy, but still, like, is this really the move that we should be trying to make, ladies? So there's a different conversation that's being had, and it's not so much, some women are just flat out sounding ugly about it. You know what I mean? They're very much coming across as though, just flat out, no, I don't care how much money you make. The man is supposed to still work. He gonna work no matter what. If you will not lay in this bed and not have a job to go to, type of thing. I don't care how much money I make. I don't care how good we got it. You gonna clock in, I'm clocking in. Even if I don't clock in, you better find you a clock to clock in. There are some women who feel that way, period. And then there are some women who are just in I've observed some of the just be careful kind of conversation, like watch what's about to happen here. Because I was having a conversation with about 5 ladies before the show. If you watch the body language of Chance now, and you listen to the words that he's saying when he discusses this retirement and how it's come to pass and all this thing, he loved his job. Tabitha did not love his job. it took him a year to decide to let her retire him. From just a positioning standpoint, she is being very I'm retiring him. I'm doing this for him. I didn't like this. She says that we came into agreement. When she read Wendy, it was we decided. We are in agreement. This was our decision. That was the key words that we were hearing in the read. Now that this thing is transforming a little bit and you're seeing the body language shift and the conversation shift, is becoming more eye focused. And even those who rock with Tab are looking at things like, this is a different presentation of them than what we're used to. This is not how we're used to seeing them. Even just today, like Tab was rediscussing how in the midst of drama and stress, we still overcome and we're going to be positive. Tab don't talk like that. Her whole thing is, you don't mess up your day. If you're somebody messing up your day, you don't mess up. You keep your stuff to yourself and be happy and be positive. Like the fact that we have to continually we have to continue to readdress. Now we're not talking about Wendy. We're talking about the little people. At this point, she's talking about the fact that the people have their name in her mouth, in their mouth. Stop talking about what I got going on. So I'm going to make it as positive as I can, but this is starting to wear on us. So women who have been in this situation or have watched this situation or have, seen other men discuss this situation, you know what I mean? We know how this starts to transform certain men, even the most excited men, to be embarking on this newfound freedom and love the fact that this is now the position. This type of presentation wears on a man that prides himself in presenting a certain way, to holding a certain space in a relationship, to being responsible for a certain thing. So even though this may be their reality, the way that this is being presented, even for me as a woman, seems to be a bit much. Not saying that she shouldn't be proud that this is what she's doing or any of that. I'm just thinking if the long term is supposed to be y'all do 23 more, we might want to reassess this introduction of this retirement to the world. Do we need to have this introduction right now as it's happening? Do we need to know that this was happening right now as he's being retired? I didn't even know Chance was a damn police officer until she gave us the soliloquy about her not wanting him to be a police officer. I didn't know. Did you know?
No clue. But I don't really follow. She's a vegan. I don't fool with vegan stuff. So, I don't.
Altogether, she don't check none of the boxes just because she's vegan.
Yeah, I'm not going.
Her videos aren't all about vegan stuff.
Those are the only ones I have to see is talking about vegan stuff. I'm like, no, I don't need to watch that.
But yeah, I don't think the people really knew the Chance was an officer.
No, I don't know. I did
know.
not, but I don't. Again, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that he didn't not want to retire, which is
not necessarily.
He didn't want to retire. That's a whole nother issue. Yeah, that's strange. I didn't know that. I think, so the read part of it was absolutely right. When I listened to Wendy sounded she was without a doubt inputting her situation into which and the problem, and it wasn't even so much what she was saying, it was the way she was saying it. Like as you watched her, you could see the pain of her who's happening. And I was like, oh, it was like you kind of lost the opportunity, not the opportunity, but you lost the power behind what you're saying because of the way that you said it. So that was that. Now, again, if he's now doesn't want to retire and like this whole party thing he didn't want, then that's, again, that's.
Well, I don't know if the party is what I don't know if he didn't want it. I'm just saying when you look at, I didn't see that. Party. Yeah.
So I'm just saying if he, so I don't, it probably felt good to have a party, but it's like, I really gonna want to go to work. But I think that's maybe something that they would have to figure out amongst themselves. I do think, again, going back to the same to I'm all about consistency. I think as a man, whatever, a part of our work is a part of our masculinity, is part of our pride and a part of our ego. So being able to provide for our family is a part of our, what we pride ourselves in being able to do. So it could be that is a part of what he's wrestling with. That's, that's now, and maybe this isn't the, the best cover. Like, she's not providing the best cover for him. But ultimately, I think a part of it is like he's now in a position where, well, brother, you like talk for yourself. I think even though she's the celebrity, like when it comes to this, like let that man say what he got to say, and if he don't want to say nothing, don't say nothing. Like, but just let the.
To me, this sets him up for attack, for unnecessary exposure. She's the artist. She's the act, not him. Like, I'm like, pray for Chance. It's going to be women throwing the yussy at him every left and right. It's going to be men questioning the haters who are either jealous or think it's emasculating or whatever the case. Like, every time this man steps out of his door, somebody going to have something to say about the fact that his wife retired him while he's still grappling and dealing with the fact that his wife retired him. And it's almost in a way reducing his work over the last 15 years that have gotten him to that. Like, he's had a whole career while supporting her as well. You know what I mean? So let's not discount that and just say, oh, my wife hit it, so now I ain't got to clock in no more. Like, it's bigger than that. Let's not reduce the man's effort, his work that has happened up until this point, not reducing hers as well. I think she should be able to cheer for herself. I just don't know if right now needed to be that time. Well, and in this way, I don't know. To your point, like what you're saying is, like, it's almost like you want to grieve in private and not in public. And I think that's what I think that what's being missed is that I don't think that some people understand that for a man, when our work is not right, when our money is not right, like we grieve, we mourn almost as if like we lost somebody. And so to now have to do that in public while defending your spouse. Because the couple of videos I've seen, I've seen a couple of them, and he didn't seem too enthusiastic in any of them videos. And this was Chance is chill. Like, he's a chill dude in general. Like, he's big grinning next to her, or like got the lean going. Like, he's super chill. Got his little hat down. He's super chill.
So to do that in private or public and try to cover your wife and try to figure out what I'm going to do next, and is a lot. And so. So I don't know. I do know that it does not help. It doesn't help a couple to have to do that in front of that many people and to continue it, to do it. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna see. I'm hopeful that they've been married 20 plus years.
23.
That, like, if he feels overwhelmed or he feels like, hey, you're doing too much, like, he's at a space where he can be like, all right, thank you for the party. I'm glad we'll do this. That's enough. Let's move on. Like, tired. This conversation is dead. Let's let them talk. We gonna do what we gonna do. Amen. The doors of the church open.
Yep. And I hope she's in the space, if that is what he does or what he says to her, she receives it in that way. And you know how we say, I want you to apologize where you offend me. In a way, if this does become a thing for them to that point, like, if you want to do all of this out in public, like, and you want to tell the people about the love and what it takes to get to this point and do all of that, if that ends up being what happens in the background, I would very much, and she does not have to do this, and I'm not going to not like her at any less or anything like that. She doesn't. But for in the same vein of accountability and transparency, if that's what we're doing, we do 5-minute reads and then follow-ups to the reads and all this other stuff. But we're going to talk about it through all of these other phases. If at the end of the day, all of that did not turn out the way that you expected, I would hope, understanding the influence and platform that she has, she would come back and say, okay, lovies, so come on in the room. So Tab got to talk to you, okay? So, I love my Chance, right? And I got up on this video and I did all of that pomp and circumstance about my Chance. And see, I talk too much, y'all. I might have did a little too. Me and Donna, we might have did a little too much in our excitement and retiring Chance. Like, I want to see that video, okay? Because, like, if that is where we end up, I want come on full circle with it, Auntie. Show the people that sometimes we don't always know. We do too much sometimes. Come back and show little sis, all them babies who's out here with pom-pomming for tab. Yes, you got to be a strong man. A strong man would let his wife. A strong man would be proud that his wife, because there's some women are saying that too. And I need us to have that full circle moment. Like I would love that would make me stand for this situation. If that, and I don't wish that on them, right. But survey says that this don't always end up the way we're talking about.
I think if it's not the case, that it would be really cool, like for him to say, like, we're good, y'all. We're good. Yep. Everybody, like it would again, platform public platforms are different, and I think that public platforms are different. And I don't suggest that as that everybody needs to know your business and all of that stuff, but I think that you definitely have to recognize, the influence that you have. I just had a conversation, last weekend. We were talking about influence, and somebody said something, and I'm like, y'all be listening to me? And somebody, yeah. I was like, oh, well, I better be out here to stop talking reckless then, because
you got whole quote templates. Yes, people be listening to you. What?
It was like, you don't know that? I was like, not really. I didn't. So to recognize, it was a real conversation. I was like, pay attention to me. Yeah, you didn't know that? I was like, So, so to recognize,
there are far more people who pay attention than actually like or engage on your posts, and that's everybody. There are far more people with eyes on you than will ever reach out and touch you in a way that you can measure. So
So I think that for them, I mean, their platform is much larger. Her platform, so subsequently his is much larger than what we think. And so I think we have to just understand that our successes and our failures are a part of our story, and it doesn't take away from the success to talk about the failure. It's just a matter of being human. And actually, if anything, I think it actually helps, because people now recognize that they can still be human, make human mistakes, and still progress to a certain space in life. So just a thought. All right, let's move on.
I do hope that it works out and we don't have to have the follow-up videos and stuff, though, because it is an amazing blessing to be in that position. Like, I really do hope that it works out in the fairy tale way that they talk about, that it's presented. I do hope that for them.
Shanae said, yeah, we pay attention. Shanae, you pay attention. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. You pay attention, but I don't
to everything.
I don't know about that. But anyway, Nicole Harris Jones. So I don't know if you all saw this today. Nicole Harris Jones, professor. So this one says the UNC board approves tenure for journalist Nicole Hannah Jones after uproar over hiring her as a professor without the job protection. So today, if you did not see, was it today or yesterday that she announced?
I think it was yesterday. I think. A lot has happened today. I don't know. It could be.
Yeah. So Nicole Hannah Jones, so for those at UNC, she was teaching at UNC in their journalist department. I forgot what the position is, but usually this position comes with tenure, and she was not offered the tenure initially. And now, after an uproar, media uproar, students uproar, they came back and voted 9-4 to give her tenure. Well, today or yesterday, whenever she decided that she was going to decline this tenure, and not only was she going to decline tenure, but she was going to leave University of North Carolina and go and chair the journalist department accept tenure, at Howard University in Washington, D.C. So for those who don't know who Nicole Hannah Jones is, she is the person, I'm all over the place today. She is the originator. She's the person who did the 1619 Project. That catalogs really the long-standing effects of slavery for Black people in America. And so she won a Pulitzer Prize for this, for this work that she's done for the 1619 Project, as well as other work, and is really a leader, one of the leaders in the journalist world. So for her to not get tenure for a position that since 1980 has always come with tenure was problematic. Seeing as, from my understanding, she was the first Black woman that this happened to. So to see her, I'm excited to see her go to Howard. So she decided to take her skills to an HBCU and teach our young people. So I'm excited about it. I was dope this morning. I danced a little bit about it. Even though I went to Langston, I'm very happy that she has done this and want to see more of our professionals do this very thing. So, Q, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm totally here for this. I'm totally here for this. I've been following this story for a few weeks now on a different platform. So it's been one that I've been invested in for a little bit. And there have been even other professors who have joined in solidarity, so to speak, with Nicole and moving in throughout this process. You know, they've taken sis through a lot of changes. She has wasted a lot of time proving her value to this school. And what I've also learned is there was one, I believe, trustee or board of director or whatever it is, there was one that didn't really want her that opposed her having tenure. This boiled down to one, maybe two people on this board, and they decided they did not want her. Simply just they didn't like her. They didn't like her. But the majority of the board was all for her having tenure. It was expected that she have tenure, which is a part of why everyone was so shocked and amazed that it didn't happen. This was one of those late in the midnight hour type moves that they pulled on her, and it was, never mind, come on to work, but you don't get your props. You know, that type of thing. So I was extremely, I was worried last week when they were talking about that they were going to reconsider it and, you know, all that other stuff. And that she was offered and, you know, we were waiting with bated breath to figure out what sis was going to do. And, you know, I posted earlier today, my high road is under construction. So I was super, super hoping that she was taking them through all them changes to make all of them points and to be like, you know what, appreciate it, but no, I'm good. I'm going back over here with my people. You know what I mean? Where I would have never been taken through these changes. Like, so I was very, very excited to see that. And I agree with you, Win. I hope more of our professors, our thought leaders, our thinkers, our innovators, our revolutionaries, who know how to bob and weave and maneuver, you know, these games that this world continues to play, take that back to these schools so that our kids can benefit from that. They should not have to go into debt to have that one or two prized Black professors to put them up on some game that's buried deep within the course studies of this huge course catalog offered at these universities. Like, that should not be how our kids have to unlock these gems. So I hate that we had to take sis through all these changes to get to this point. But hey, we were just talking about everybody's not a revolutionary. Sis stepped up to the challenge and she did that. I think folks will stop playing with the next one. We will think a little harder before we play with the next one because we got time. I think sis showed them that's it. I got time. I got the time.
I can afford it because I can go get another job.
Yes. Yep. But to prove all of my points and then take myself elsewhere to do my work.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm going to go do my work and make my impact over there. You're bad.
Yep.
You know, I love that. I love it.
Yep. I'm here. I'm here for it. I think this on you know, we're seeing this drip turn into a stronger stream. You know, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I mean, we saw last year in football, we see Deion Sanders, you know, going to Jackson State. You know, we're seeing this. So I think we're seeing more people recognize that, hey, listen, we've got to start putting back into our own system. We saw Gary Payton is now coaching at a school out in San Diego and Oakland, you know, so it's all of these, like Reggie Theus is now the athletic director and coach at Bethune-Cookman. So like we're starting to see our people come back. And the good part, the president of Prairie View, I forgot her name, but she retired from corporate America, came back and said she's going to run Prairie View in order to help get more money. Right. So I mean, like, we're seeing this. We just got to get more and more of it, and get it at more places. And I said this earlier, than Howard and Spelman and more. Nothing wrong with those schools, but there are other HBCUs that need this too. So I think we just got to keep giving back and keep supporting and keep growing, because our institutions are different. Nothing against PWIs, but HBCUs are just different. There, if that's where you want to go, we definitely got some work to do at our HBCUs in terms of course offerings and things like that. But those are ours. Those are ours. So.
Yeah. The way that colleges are they're very business. We know that colleges and universities are very business. It's a lot of competition. There's a lot attached to the industry of education. I would love for HBCUs to look at what they are as a collective differently. Mm-hmm. If we help each other thrive in whatever it is that we do well or best, or together we do well, we all win. But right now, like, unless you are interested in the big five that we talked about, the Spelman, Morehouse, Howard, those HBCUs aren't really on many people's radars unless you live in the city or state that HBCU resides. People aren't traveling across to go to the ones that we don't talk about. That in general hurts the branding of HBCUs, because while those top fives in our realm are the top fives, they barely hit marks in the big boys. But if we as a collective create something so important, so impactful as HBCUs, then that's something that can then compete with the other side. You know what I'm saying? So like the way that we can't enter some of these spaces thinking, performing, strategizing with the same expectations that they do. The only way we're going to be able to win at some of this stuff is to look at it differently. We can't watch them run us over and think that's going to be the same way we do it back to them. Like, that's not how that works. I don't think we
don't have the money or the people to do that. That's
right. So like, we got to work with what we have and work the hell out of it. Like, we just have to, our strategy can't be a copycat of what they've done. No. We're always going to be behind that way. We have to look at it.
I agree. And I said that like 20 years ago. So yeah, so I said it like 20 years ago.
Confirmation,
about how we definitely have to do that, and remembering the core reasons why people pick schools. So like, we pick schools you pick a college based upon the major, meaning you want to get a job, when you leave, the experience, like to me, the difference between it's the experience. It's the experience of caring. It's the experience of, it's like a small community of people, but it's also, it has to be a place where when you leave with a really good paying job. And so
you're prepared.
You're prepared for it, and you can go get a job. And I think that's a lot of times outside of some of your major ones. One of the problems that we have is that we just don't, when you leave there, unless you have a certain degree, you're gonna struggle, because a lot of your HBCUs, I want to say 60 to 70. I can't remember the number. I want to say it's like 70% of Black teachers come from HBCUs. And though I love teachers, I also recognize that to spend $60,000 to get a $40,000 a year job is kind of not productive. So we have to figure out how either we can lower the cost of that or raise teachers or something that we can do to make that decision, or to make it a good thing that we need to a good reason to go to that particular program, or to go to that.
Because nobility don't pay bills. Nobility don't pay utilities. We got to have a lot of noble hearts, but that does not pay the bills.
Out. Or, or at least, even if you're going to go there for that, talk about other things that you can do outside of just the classroom to either supplement your income or make money. So it's just got to be something more, a lot more robust, because that's our difference. Our difference is we care about the total person, not just you coming in, getting your degree and leaving, like or taking your money. We're not here for that. We're here to help finish what you as parents started. You as a parent, you raised them. Now let us polish them and get them ready to go out and
get
so
them
they can go do
ready.
it. That's the difference right there, and that's what we gotta figure out how to like you said. That's got to be the brand of the HBCU. So.
Yeah. It's not that we're better than them. It's like we're better than all of them. Like any one of these schools you choose, depending on what your passion is going to prepare your child to kill it at life. Like what works for your child. It's not a matter of how can you work into what we provide. Like what within this collective of awesome education experiences can we put, like how can we advise your child among this experience? What if you start here and end up there? Every kid at fresh out of college isn't trying to travel all the way across the world to go into one of the most exposed cities in the country. Atlanta is not for every Black child, as much as we might think. You know what I mean? You cannot stick every little Black child smack dab in the middle of Georgia and think that that's going to be productive for every child. Like it's just not. It doesn't make sense. But if they desire HBCUs, how many kids have done that, gone into debt, created a situation that they're now struggling out of just trying to live the dream? When we could have created the dream a little closer to home with a little different strategy, we could have put the dream a little bit closer so that they actually could have reached it. You know what I mean? And I think, I really want us to come at it differently. Like I could have ended up at HBCU at that branding. I think been just I went to an all Black high school and still was like, Spelman was out. I was like, well, sorry, they don't have my program. I guess I'm going to OU it is. It was like, I didn't, and that is my own ignorance, but I didn't even entertain the HBCU that was literally down the street. People that I've made money with, I build businesses with daily for 10 plus years ever since. Like I could have been down there doing that with you. How far could we have been if I would have been in Langston when all the rest of y'all was, it's one of those things. Like we got to get our branding together. We got to get it together.
Absolutely. All right. Last one.
With 3 minutes left, we got a last one.
Oh, yeah, we can skip it because we could call this foolishness for next week.
Okay, I don't even know what I can't see it. But yeah, okay.
Where they live together and he giving her the $500 a week for expenses. We're gonna hold that one for next week then. All right, cool.
Yeah.
You got any? You got any final thoughts?
Let's strategize different this next week. That's become the word of this conversation for me. Like how we go about our conversations, our attack plan, how we go about solutioning our issues. We have to get a different strategy. What we're doing isn't really working. Like just pick one. Any of the things that we're working at right now, what we're doing on a very grand scale is not really working. We've got a lot of frustration. We've got a lot of burnout. We've got a lot of wasted energy. And for what? Like at some point we have to realize we got to strategize different. So I challenge each of us to find something in our lives, in our worlds, and within our reach that we can help create a better plan or where we're trying to go. The little things, but let's implement strategy in our actions over the next week.
Absolutely.
And have a great week. Please.
Absolutely. My final thoughts would be this is really good conversation tonight.
It was.
Really good conversation tonight. Thank you, James. Thank you, Shanae. Thank you. Who else? Who else did I miss? James, Shanae, Cicely. Everybody who tuned in, y'all. Thank you for your comments tonight. Really, really good. Thank y'all for sticking with us and having this conversation. We gotta continue to just come together, y'all. That's really it. Like. I'm gonna say it again. We want each other. We don't just need each other. We actually want each other. And so I think we just have to continue to do the work. And it's hard work and it's uncomfortable work. And it's at times as a man, I sometimes feel like the world is trying to redefine who I am. And that's okay that I feel like that because it is. And some of it is good and some of it is bad. And I think we have to be willing to go through the process of figuring out what part, how to keep the meat and throw away the bone. So it's just part of,
Yep.
and having conversations and shows and spaces like this that are not about tearing each other down and are not about trying to just get my point across, are how I grow as a man, because I don't have all the answers. So I'm okay at 42. I'm okay with it. I don't have all. 41, not 42 yet. 42.
He's
42 is coming. Couple months. So
back.
I just say that to say that I encourage everybody to do that. Do that with the people who are around you. Like, ask the questions, have the uncomfortable conversations. And if you can't, keep coming back every Tuesday, because we're going to keep doing it. Share it, invite people. Yep. Again, we are here to be the people who come with solutions, that walk away from this and say, I understand them better. I understand that perspective better. I might not agree with it yet, but I understand it.
I understand.
Listen to it some more. Maybe, because even just understanding brings a greater amount of empathy for somebody. When you understand what they're coming on, when you understand their heart, when you understand why they're doing what they do, it brings about a greater empathy. So I just want to encourage y'all. Like you said, I agree. Look for some solutions this week. Look for somebody who you can love on. Look at somebody who you can help this week so that we can continue to grow and be better. As always, I appreciate every last one of you. I appreciate you, Q, for what you do and your perspective and your thoughts and all of the wonderful insight that you bring, not only to this show, but to me and to all of us as a collective. So thank you very, 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 very much.
I love y'all, for real.
We love y'all. So y'all have a good night, good rest of your week. If you didn't hit the share button, hit the share button. If you didn't tag somebody, tag them and tell them to watch the replay. And if you're watching the replay, put your comments. We definitely read them. We definitely read them. So y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all next Tuesday. So I try to keep it low when you knock me to the floor, because I don't want to. Let me do this for my son. This what he to do.
He was gonna get you if you didn't do. Well done, Daddy. Well done.
Wrote this out for me. Put this on. There you go.
You got to get that baby a permanent marker so we can see it no matter what next time. Give us the bold. Give us the bold.
There you go.
Thank you, Trey. Our PR manager, our brand manager.
Go like his YouTube channel too. It's Trey Burns World. Yeah, TRE.
Trey Burns World.
Go check out his YouTube channel. Yeah.